Hi guys, so I am back. I'm in a different setting, as you can probably tell, because I'm back in the south of France where I'm originally from for the holidays. And because it's the end of the year, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of look back on the year that just passed, on 2021, and to share a little bit of that with you. I feel like it's something I haven't done in the past year, which is strange because I love doing that. I do it every single year personally for myself. I write it down and I try to be reflective about that. But I realized I did not share that type of content for maybe the past couple of years. I hope this is going to be somehow relatable and perhaps interesting, and I hope that you will be able to share your experiences and your feedback as well on your own year in the comments. Just a minute, I think my cat wants to come here. Look at that. So, no, not in the camera, please. So this video is kindly sponsored by Notion, which I want to say before anything else, I am not a fan of the productive movement or the pressure that we put on ourselves and that society puts on us to be productive. I feel this is very unhealthy, but also ironically, I think this is very counterproductive because I never feel efficient, I never feel happy, I never feel productive, and I never feel motivated when I see all those posts about productivity. Rather, I feel stressed and I feel guilty of not doing enough, and that's not the way I want to present to you Notion and how it helps me, build a more structured and organized life for myself. I want to say that the way I use Notion and the way I use bullet journaling, for example, is to make it work for me. It's not to buy into a capitalist view of the world and being productive at all costs, but rather organizing my life, so that, the things I have to do and I cannot really escape from, like work and tax and paper stuff and daily life, errands, grocery shopping, whatever, what have you, I do it. I don't feel guilty about them. I don't feel stressed about them. I just do it as best as I can. And then I have the free time in my life. That's really what we live for, I feel like. And I organize this time to really enjoy myself and to really feel fulfilled and to really, have the time to learn, to create, to meet people, to just enjoy sometimes not doing anything at all. But when I do nothing at all, I try to not feel guilty about not doing anything at all, because I have all those tasks that I haven't really taken care of that are just racing through my mind. And that's how I use Notion. So yes, this video is sponsored by Notion, and I want to talk a little bit about how it helps me feel more positive and more structured, yet also remain flexible in my life. So Notion is basically like an online bullet journaling thing. It's one place for all that you have to plan and organize. Here is my home page. As you can tell, this is the page for my yearly goals, and I'm showing them to you, sharing it with you all. And you can basically turn any item into a new page. For example, this is my meal plan. I'm hopefully gonna plan my meals, but also my travels, for example. So this is the template that was the basic template that Notion came up with, and I kept it because it was so intuitive and easy. As you can tell, this is my to-do list, and I changed the way I organized things. At first I was just putting things right beneath one another, and then I used the toggle option because I think it looks cleaner and it's better in my opinion. But as you can tell, what I'm using is very simple. People have way more elaborate templates that you can also duplicate and add into your own Notion, but I like things that are simple. This is my work page. I didn't fill this in because it's a bit private, but I have a calendar, and then I have a sort of to-do list, I guess, but it's a bit more complex. Basically, you can turn this into a page or anything that you want. You can move it anywhere else as well, and then when you're done, when you're in the process of doing the task, you can also move them from section to section, and that's so easy. Like, really, honestly, it is very intuitive and very easy to use. This is my YouTube page, and once again, the toggle little thing, because I really like when things look clean and simple. these are a few of my ideas for videos, and here a new page and you have the full script. So that's a lot of content in just one little page, and I think it's very useful. This is my journal area. I'm not going to show it because it's a bit more personal, but you get the idea. Similar to my YouTube page, this is the podcast page. When it's crossed and blue, it's because I've already recorded it. It's the literary podcast that I have in French. This time I didn't turn them into new pages. I would probably do in the future, but yeah, I'm just also experimenting and trying to see what feels the best for me, really. And that's going to be different for everyone, obviously. Also, you can choose the cover, the top of the page. You can also choose the emoticon or the emoji to distinguish all the different pages. You can add emojis, and here I'm just showing you how easy it is. Basically, you just click and then select what you want from the very extensive list. Very, very easy to use. Honestly, I was a bit afraid at first, but it is really easy. And here it's just a simple way to create a new page, for example. And they also offer you different templates, which is what's at the right of the screen, and you have different templates to choose from depending on what you want and what you need. You can also create your own templates, but that's definitely not for everyone. And if you're a beginner, I don't think that's necessarily what you want. You want something simple, easy. And yeah, I just really like Notion. I think it's so great because I can do my work-related stuff, the scripts for my videos, I can budget, I can plan my trips ahead, I can have a to-do list, I can have it on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer. So easy and convenient. You have everything in one place, which is something I really love. But then everything is very clear and very distinct as well, which I think is so important if you want to stay organized and keep it, just very efficient and time-wise efficient as well. So yeah, you can try Notion for free as well if you want, and I would highly suggest it, especially with the new year coming and the projects that we may have, and we just want a more simple life, more organized, and that's definitely one way to go, really. So as you could see in the previous Notion segment, there are a few things in my life that really matter and that make me feel alive, that make me feel happy, and that really, when I feel like I've succeeded in those areas of my life, I can look back on the year and feel like, oh, that was not so bad as a year, and 2021 was not too bad. So of course, like everyone else, I was impacted by the health worldwide situation, and that wasn't really good. Yet I managed to travel, which is the first thing I want to say, because travel to me is really important. It's something I love doing. It's something I want to do full time at some point in my life. Sorry about that. That's my phone. Could not travel too much this year. No need to tell you why. I guess that's pretty obvious. But I did manage to travel in a way. First of all, I traveled in France. I went back to the south for the longest time possible during summer. Really enjoyed my time here. Really enjoyed going to the sea, soaking in the sun, seeing my friends. I love the south of France. It's beautiful. Always have a wonderful time here, and I love that. Then I also traveled by myself, solo, which is another thing I really, 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 really want to stress out and point out and focus on. I love doing things by myself sometimes. I took advantage of that. I traveled to Normandy, I suppose. I guess that's Normandy. That's also the sea coast, but like the Atlantic Ocean, not the Mediterranean Sea where I'm from. I love that. That was just a day out of Paris, but that was so nice to take the time to do that for myself. I do plan my trips as much as I can. As you could see, I think I showed that in the Notion segment. Up the prices, the accommodations, the things we can do, etc. And then during October and November, I traveled in Europe. I went to Germany and I went to Croatia. Those 2 times I went with a friend, and that was so good. I felt so happy to be traveling again, and I loved that, and I really took advantage of those short trips, and that was lovely. Also, what was really lovely was to travel for the first time with a friend that I had never traveled with, a friend from the online world, I guess you could say. And I love that. I love that we took the time to do that. I love that we, just organized that for ourselves. And that's so nice to have lovely people in your life. I feel really grateful about that. So that's something I really value, the friendships I have, and I feel like that's something that really came into light in 2021. I felt really connected to my friend through the good and the bad. Oh my god. I also felt really connected to my family. I have a really good relationship with my family, even though it's really small, but I have a really good relationship with my mom, my dad, and my sister, and I loved being able to, communicate daily with them, spend time with them, have fun with them. So yeah, in that aspect, I think 2021 was a good year for me. Travel-wise, yes, it wasn't as amazing as those years when I went to Japan or Vietnam or whatever, but it was really good. I enjoyed the trips that I had. And then in terms of relationship, I think it was a really good year. Of course, I cannot really talk about 2021 without mentioning that I changed jobs, and oh my god, that was a life-changing decision. I feel so grateful that I got to change jobs and schools and everything. I feel so much better now. I feel so much more aligned with who I am, and everything feels a lot better. I want to say that my new job requires a lot of organization because I am basically working with students, but also different teachers and also people outside of school because of this class that I have, which is a bit special. So that's sometimes a challenge, definitely, especially for me as an introvert and being very anxious. And that's why being organized sometimes is not about buying into this idea and this pattern of being productive and having these million apps that, remind you what you have to do. But sometimes being really organized and having everything at one place helps you just simplify your life. I really need that for my work, for my job, because otherwise I would be so anxious and I need to do things as soon as possible. Otherwise the stress just keeps building up and building up, which is not what I want. I love my new job. I feel so much better. I have regained a lot of self-confidence, and that's amazing. So that's 3 really good points. We'll stay in the work kind of topic subject. I did launch just recently the membership option on my literary channel. So unfortunately, I'm very sorry about that. That's only in French, but that's something I've wanted to do for a while. I've been thinking a lot about how I can, be more, I guess, efficient in a way and make it a more viable thing long term. The online thing that I do, creating video, etc. And that was a big change for me because I've never really thought that I would make some of my content available only for people that, will pay and have a membership. So that required a lot of thinking, a lot of work on myself, but I did it. I launched it just recently, and I am so happy that I did it because I feel like 2021 will be the year when I finally decided to do that for myself, to allow myself to do that, and to allow myself to find that my work has some value. And once again, definitely, because this requires also more work and more organization. This, part of my new online activity is going to require for me to be organized and for me to, rely on a lot of, self-discipline, but also I'm pretty sure that, my bullet journal is going to be full and my Notion is going to be full. So yeah. So that's the good things, I guess, the positives. I think that the best season for me was definitely autumn in a way, because that's when I started my new job. I realized how different my life could be in Paris. I also really took advantage of Paris, even though I felt lonely at times and even though my mental health was not always the best. I went out almost every day, which is a big thing for me because I struggle with going out. I went back to the museums, was lovely. I did a lot of exploring in Paris. The weather was beautiful. So autumn really stand out for me. this year. I feel like this was the best season, even though really summer was good as well, really good. Obviously, I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be honest, there were also some, what could I say? I don't want to say some bad parts of the year, but I guess things that were not as good. Health-wise, that wasn't the best. I became really sedentary. I think that's also part of the situation that we're going through. That really encouraged me in my bad habits, reinforced my bad habits, and reinforced my anxiety to go out. And I have become really sedentary in a way, and that comes with a lot of health issues that are not really serious, but like, back pains, a lot of migraines, weight gain, sorry. So I haven't really done as good as I wanted to do this year in that regard, but that's life, I guess you could say. The part that wasn't as perhaps fulfilling is that I didn't create as much as I wanted to. I started writing a little bit at the end of the year, and I did a little bit of illustration. I did a bit of lino cutting and printing, but not as much as I wanted to. I don't know what it is, but I feel like creativity, we have this image that it's something that knows no rule, basically, and that it's a free thing that come and go, and we should follow our feelings and whatever. But really, when we do that, at least personally, when I do that, I don't really create that much. So I think I have to work on a way to make it part of my schedule and make it part of the daily task, without losing the creativity and the sparks that it also carries, because I want to create more. I feel the need to create more, and I just really like the self-discipline, the motivation, but also once again, being anxious and dealing with depression, I cannot ignore the consequences it has on my life. Being organized and having a to-do list and just dealing with ordinary things in life, when you have depression and anxiety, it is so much more than it seems to be. It's so difficult when you have health issues, whatever the health issues you have are, I think it's much more difficult. Depression and anxiety make it difficult for me to manage to have a fridge that's full all week long. And when I say full, I don't even mean full, but sometimes I don't have anything to eat. And I struggle with I don't know what I struggle with exactly, but that's a struggle. So when you struggle with providing yourself with food, providing food to yourself, providing yourself with food, I don't know what's the correct way to say that in English, but anyway, when you struggle with that, imagine what it's like to make it a priority for you on top of your job, on top of your 2 YouTube channels, right? To create in 2 different fields. That's a lot. I want to end this video with saying that I feel like this year could really be the year for me of details and patience. Details because I had to really find beauty and happiness in the little things, in people, in relationships, in views, in objects, and I had to be really patient, because a lot of things that I was hoping for did not only depend on, that was not only my doing. I had to also accept that sometimes things are not under my control, and whether it was changing jobs, whether it was being able to travel, whether it was budget-wise. Last but not least, and I won't go into details, but why do I choose the word patience? Because I realized that even though I love my new job, even though I feel, once again, sorry, the cat, even though I feel really grateful, and even though I do find meaning in what I do, being a teacher, I think that's a very meaningful job, at least to me. I do find meaning in that, and I do enjoy being with my students and everything. I realized that it's not what I want to do anymore. I do want to work full-time on my own projects and not work for others, as selfish as it may sound perhaps, but I want to have the freedom and the means to do that for a year or two at least. And that's definitely not happening for me right now for many reasons. And I have to be patient and endure, I guess, but also find beauty and grace in this process. And if you're interested, I could talk about that in another video, because I feel like that's something that a lot of adults go through. And we have different experiences, but like if you're not from a wealthy family, for a lot of us, that's the same. We need to make it happen. We have to make it happen, but it takes time. You know, I had a lot of moments when I didn't feel happy this year, not gonna lie. I had a lot of moments when I felt really depressed, really depressed. I had a lot of moments when I didn't want to wake up, when I didn't want to be around people. I didn't reply to texts or calls because I didn't want to talk to anybody. I had a lot of moments when I just was not really feeling so attached to, you know, just the idea of being alive. I had a lot of moments when I felt completely disgusted by the state of the world. And I cried a lot. I cried in public. I cried outside. I cried at work. That was not a beautiful year in a way, but it was I don't know, I guess it was a year full of strength. But the strength that's not so remarkable, the strength that you need to really look closely to find. And I guess that's better than nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now because the light is getting worse and worse, and the video is getting really long. So I hope you somehow enjoyed this video. I would love to hear about your year as well, and I hope you also create the best year possible for you starting now, whether that's, you know, using Notion or maybe just reflecting on the past year. And I cannot wait to see you again in 2022, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.